Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Today's topic, Daniel's second vision with Gabriel's understanding. So what I got going here is I've laid out the vision Daniel had in Daniel 8, verses 3 through 14. And then I've inserted Gabriel's analysis, understanding, interpretation, kind of layered into this so it reads seamlessly is the idea. Also have some editorial comment throughout some of this. But we'll start with Daniel 8, verse 3. I raised my eyes and saw, and behold, a ram standing on the bank of the canal. It had two horns, and both horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher one came up last. And we'll look at Gabriel's comments. As for the ram that you saw with the two horns, these are the kings of Media and Persia. Go back to the vision Daniel himself saw. I saw the ram charging westward and northward and southward. No beast could stand before him, and there was no one who could rescue him from his power. He did as he pleased and became great. As I was considering, behold, a male goat came from the west across the face of the whole earth without touching the ground. And then here is Gabriel's interpretation. And the goat is the king of Greece. And the goat, the king of Greece, had a conspicuous horn between his eyes. Again, Gabriel's comment. And the great horn between his eyes is the first king. Daniel's vision, he came to the ram with two horns, which I had seen standing on the bank of the canal, and he ran at him in his powerful wrath. I saw him come close to the ram, and he was enraged against him and struck the ram and broke his two horns, and the ram had no power to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and trampled on him. And there was no one who would rescue the ram from his power. The goat became exceedingly great, but when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And at that point, Gabriel interjects, as for the horn that was broken, back to the vision, and instead of it, there came up four conspicuous horns toward the four winds of heaven. Gabriel comments, in place of which four others arose, four kingdoms shall arise from his nation, but not with his power. And I'm going to stop there and interject. And history tells us that was Alexander the Great. There's really no debating that. And then the kingdom was broken into four. And that was 323 BC. So here we are at least 2,300 years later. And then that's where almost 2,300 years later. And that becomes interesting when we get to the end of this. So hold that thought. But we've paused. And for now, out of one of them came a little horn. The little horn has yet to arrive on the scene. And Gabriel tells us at the latter end of their kingdom, which, as we see it, appears to be Western civilization being in charge. When the transgressors have reached their limit, a king of bold face, one who understands riddles, shall arise. And back to Daniel's vision, which grew exceedingly great toward the south, toward the east, toward the glorious land. It grew great, even to the host of heaven. And some of the host and some of the stars it threw down to the ground and trampled on them. It became great. Gabriel makes the comment, his power shall be great, but not by his power, and he shall cause fearful destruction, and shall succeed in what he does, and destroy mighty men and the people who are the saints. By his cunning he shall make deceit prosper under his hand, and in his own mind he shall become great. Without warning he shall destroy many. Back to Daniel's vision, even as the great prince of the host, Gabriel's comments, and he shall even rise up against the prince of princes. So this person is around and will confront Jesus. That's what this is saying. And the regular burnt offering was taken away from him. This is back to the vision. and the place of the sanctuary was overthrown, and a host will be given over to it together with the regular burnt offering because of the transgression, and it will throw truth to the ground, and it will act, and it will prosper. Gabriel comments, and he shall be broken, but not by human hand. So the burnt offering, that's implying there will be a temple. The place of the sanctuary, that's the inner, the inner court, the temple itself, the Holy of Holies. And then Daniel closes with this vision. Then I heard a holy one speaking, and another holy one said to the one who spoke, "For how long is the vision concerning the regular burnt offering, the transgression that makes desolate?" That's, the Daniel talks about that further in Daniel 9. Jesus even quotes Daniel 9, abomination of desolation. That's what this is referring to, where he steps in and claims to be God. This would be the Antichrist as we would know him. And the giving over of the sanctuary and the host to be trampled underfoot. So, clearly this person is going to step in and control the temple. According to this text, this is what Daniel is seeing in his vision. And he said to me, "For 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the sanctuary shall be restored to its rightful state." And then that's where the 2,300 is a curiosity. And I'm not being dogmatic with this, and I'm not calling a shot saying that this is what's going to happen. But if you look at the context of when Alexander the Great was at the height of his power and when his horn was broken, was 323 BC. And frequently in Scripture, the idea of a day as a year is a 1,000 days, and there's this whole play on time and concepts where a day can equal a year, can equal 1,000 years. And I find it interesting, from 2,300 evenings and mornings, which would be a day, so 2,300 years from the time when Alexander lost power. That puts us, and there was no zero. So, and going from 1 BC to 0, and then 1 from 0 to 1 AD, there's 2 years accounted there. Well, that's not taken into account as you figure 2,300 years consecutively. That would put, the fall of 2022 just sure would be interesting. If there is, the sanctuary shall be restored to its rightful state, that the temple would be built. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not making some prophetic call here. Just looking at the text, making a conjecture, speculating, and it's just that. So take it for what it's worth. But they are on the verge of finding themselves a red heifer and sacrificing that would allow the temple to be built. And that's got to happen within the year or so. If they have 2 candidates right now, and the way the world's going, I wouldn't put any of this stuff. It's very plausible. It seems reasonable. So we're looking at within the next 2 years. If that's what the 2,300 years refers to, we could be looking at a temple. And that's again assuming we've kept time correctly as God sees it. That's a whole nother issue. But it's worth watching. It's worth noting, and it's possible. Maybe we're looking at a temple real soon in our future, because the time frame, it has been almost 2,300 years since the context of the fulfillment of the original prophecy. At the height of it being Alexander the Great, 323 BC. So just keep an eye on it. Take it for what it's worth. And Daniel 8:26, the vision of the evenings and the mornings that has been told is true, but seal up the vision for first to many days from now. And Gabriel's comments to Daniel, it's like, look, I'm promising you this is going to happen. And then, and if it doesn't in 2022, that doesn't make this any less accurate. That 2,300's evenings and mornings clearly has a point and a purpose and refers to something else. And it's one of those things, when it does happen, it will likely make perfect sense in retrospect. It's like, oh yeah, of course. But anyhow, we're looking forward and we're trying to understand the mind of God. And let's not brand anybody a heretic or for thinking, conjecturing, reading this, trying to make sense of it, understand it. We just all need to put forth more effort in reading and trying to understand what's being communicated to us. So we're in interesting times, to say the least. So truth be told, I probably should have done this one first before I set up all the comments and studies on Daniel 8 and his vision, and Gabriel's, when we focus specifically on Gabriel's and understanding of it. So at any rate, if you do enjoy these, please feel free to check out PaulthePoke.com. Share with others. Much appreciated. Gray box is gone, but you can type in your email address and send you a notification every time we put something out. Click the blue bar. Sometimes there's a gray box. And this was categorized under angels right there. So click on that and you can see all the stuff that's been written, all the studies that have been completed on angels. And we've been focusing on Gabriel for some time. We're getting ready to move forward to chapter 9. And chapter 9 in Daniel is the last place where we specifically know that Daniel is speaking. Now, there's some speculation. Angel is communicating with Daniel. Angels communicated with Daniel. We don't know if those were different angels or if those were all Gabriel. Some not Gabriel. Just sticking to the ones where we know specifically Gabriel is mentioned, and he is attributed with specific words, and that's what we're focused on. So appreciate you guys following along. Hope you're enjoying the series. Feel free to share with others. Be safe out there. Have a good one. Bye.